Hello and welcome to another Sunday Million Highlight Show. This one from the 24th of March 2013. It's a big one, 8,407 runners, generating that massive $1.681 million prize pool, all from just $215 buy-ins. Amazing stuff as usual. An amazing final table, some really high quality players, led by into second win the Canadian player Russell Thomas, who reached the final table of the World Series of Poker last year. It used to be called the November 9. That was a bit catchy, a bit too successful, so they changed it to the October 9. But he was on it. That's the important thing. Looking to add a Sunday million to that burgeoning poker CV. Some other really good players, which I'll identify for you as we go. We're going to jump in on hand number 5. 150,000, 300,000 are your blinds as we pick things up. As you can see, a couple of short stacks, as ever at the start of a million final table. Is it Ace Queen? Yes, it is Ace Queen. So that's that joke out of the way on my little checklist of humorous material here. Hopefully I'll go a bit better than most weeks. We'll see. Is it has doubled the big blind. The English player starting with 7.5 million in his stack. Vince Vega very short stacked, but not able to get involved here. And is it will get some action from briemaus if you prefer, from Germany. And this is the problem with A6. It's when you hit an ace. It's when the problems start. Is it is in control. He won't know just how good this situation is, of course. But he'll do the decent thing and bet. And he gets check raised, which he's not going to mind with a hand this strong. Not too sure about the check raise from briemaus. Not sure how much action he's getting from hands he beats doing that. Well, he looks like a genius now, doesn't he? 6 on the turn. It's an easy game sometimes, this poker malarkey. Got to feel sorry for is it in this one. Or not. Well, that's a stellar laydown. That's one of those somewhere between genius and madness laydowns. I don't know how he gets away from that on that really innocuous looking turn card. Is it was kind of supposed to go broke there, but lives to fight another day. Very next hand. And how about a cooler to warm you up? Kana has the 10s. Vince Vega has the queens. Lucky for Kana, they are in the hands of the short stack. So the damage will be limited. Well, into second wind's going to make a play here. Unfortunately for him, the short stack does have a hand. I mean, he won't be too worried about it. It does make things interesting for Kana. Not sure what he's going to do when action gets back around to him. Vince Vega obviously has put the money in. Vince Vega, one of those with a good tournament resume. He's a winner of the big 162. So it won't be this short stack this often. But Kana will commit the money and try and get into second wind out of here. Funny situation, actually. Wants into second wind out of here, depending on what hand he's got. If he's got pocket nines, he wants him to play, of course. But either way, Kana's committed the chips. Into second wind will fold. And Vince Vega can triple up if these queens hold. And they do through the flop. Vince Vega, the all-in player, does have a diamond as well. Needs to fade a 9 or a 10 on this river. Black 9. Horrible way for it to happen. Really unlucky there, but that's the penalty you pay for coming to a final table with a short stack, I guess. One piece of bad luck and it's all over. Vince Vega from Brazil, $13,000 richer after the 9th place finish. We're 8-handed. And the blinds are up. 200,000, 400,000 as we watch hand number 11. And action folded around. Big blind very short stacked. Dimka well under 10 big blinds. Is it will open from the cutoff. And you'd think that Dimka will have to commit here. Just 6 big blinds and change in the stack. King Queen looks more than good enough. Yep, in it goes. And Ahhh is it with a pretty routine call, getting a nice price on his action. He has the best hand. Dimka in jeopardy here. Needs some help. Doesn't have it quite yet. Can catch a jack to make the straight. And well, there's a jack. Everyone's just going to make their straights in showdown pots. That's what's going to happen. King Queen makes a straight. Dimka takes it down, and those are the ones you've got to get away with if you're going to make a run at this kind of tournament. Hand 18, same blind level, and the same 8 players. Action folded to briemaus with 8-6. She doesn't want to play. BEGIMOTS with the funniest hand in the deck, the 6-9. Doesn't want to play that. I can't resist. Has cost me quite a lot of money, that policy, over the years. Ahhh, 1990 has a real hand. Ace-King for the Latvian, and he'll open things up. Action followed around to the big blind. purplflowerz from Sweden will put the money in. Seems like a decent reshoving stack. Pretty standard play, I think. Just unlucky to run into a dominating hand. Very unlucky, actually. Good for Ahhh. And there's the other kings, if anyone was wondering where the other kings were. That's all of them out in the open. Not good for purplflowerz. No way out of this unless he gets very lucky. No miracle queen. And Ahhh takes it down. purplflowerz hits the rail in 8th spot. $18,495. A great run through the tournament. And as ever, we have to emphasise just how amazing it is to reach one of these final tables. Besting over 8,000 runners this week. Just to be here. Into second wind, opens ace-10 under the gun. Your chip leader. Ahhh is it with half a hand on the button, but doesn't want to get involved. Against an under the gun raise from the big stack. Seems fair enough. And King Queen all over the place, especially in the big blind in the early going of this final table. Dimka will call with it. A couple of million in the middle as we go to the flop. And top pair for into second wind. Dimka, as you can see, still has decent equity here. A king or a queen or a jack. And people have been hitting their inside straights in showdown pots, so bear that in mind, Dimka. You may want to put your money in and hit a jack, just saying. That's one way to go. Dimka's going to check here. Into second wind. We'll know that he's a million miles in front most of the time. Makes a small continuation bet. And Dimka will make the call. 3.8 million in the middle. Dimka just a little bit more than that in his remaining stack. And that is no help. Dimka checks again. Now does into second wind want to fire all 3 streets? Does he think he can get paid by worse on all 3 streets? Or might he check one to get paid on the river? We're going to find out. Well, no checking anything. The opposite. Invited Dimka to make a big mistake here, but Dimka doesn't have enough to do that with. Gets out of the way, and into second wind expands his chip lead. Just under 22 million now. Hand 38. We've raised the blind for your increased pleasure. 250,000, 500,000 is now the price of poker. And as you can see, 5 million and change stacks. So we're going to see some all-in confrontations this level, I think. BEGIMOTS has the hand that looks like ace-king, but it's really not. It's just king 4. However, does have position, just 3 players to get through. He's not going to make it, though. Ahhh is it, puts the money in with pocket jacks. And BEGIMOTS is in trouble. That's how much trouble. 28% of the time he's in no trouble. Let's see how this one goes. Latvian needing some help from the deck. Oh, and he gets it. Flops a straight draw. It's never easy for the good hand, and now he catches a pair. So plenty of outs on the river. Can he get there? He cannot. Big sweat for both these players, but BEGIMOTS had the worst hand before and has the worst hand at the end and hits the rail in 7th spot. $33,600 for his trouble. Hand 39, and the jacks are now in the hands of Into Second Wind. Russell Thomas finished 4th at that final table, making $2.85 million. That's all right for 4th, isn't it? At the Olympics, absolutely nothing for 4th. A firm handshake from the organisers probably at some point. That's it. Russell, 2.85 million. Terrific. Well, he's going to scoop up a bit more here, I think. This is as much of a cooler as anything. 10s into jacks with these size stacks. Dimka, the shorter stack, in danger of elimination at the hands of the WSOP final tableist. No help for Dimka on the flop. The Russian Federation player can only escape with a 10 now. 5 won't get it done. Into Second Wind, piling on the chips, over 28 million. Dimka hits the rail. 6th spot and $50,000 for him, leaving us 5-handed for the million. Now, we'd like you to get to a final table, and we'd like to give you a free shot at doing it. Details of the free roll coming up later in the show.
Competition everywhere. We are poker.
The thing about that Rafa advert is it was actually a 14-hour session. Those people just camped out in that street. Extraordinary devotion. Into Second Wind, 28.4 million chips, and he would only increase that, really punishing these players. Is it moved up into second place, just under 19 million, and briemaus just under 17 million. So this one's still very much up for grabs. Kana looking to make a move pretty soon, but it's not going to be this hand. We're playing 300,000, 600,000. And is this the point at which Into Second Wind runs into a little bit of a headwind? Because he has a good hand here, as you can see. Arcus has a better one with the 2 ladies, and he'll make the shove. No messing around or slow playing, inviting Second Wind to make the call. It's going to cost him about 10 million. He doesn't want to do it. Well, that's the second laydown we've seen with Ace-Queen that's been a surprise. But Into Second Wind, we'll enjoy watching that one. Dodged a bullet there. Queens now for the British player is it? With just under 19 million. 31 and a bit big blinds, plenty to play with. Only out chip by Into Second Wind. And the double the big blind raise is the standard. Into Second Wind's going to put the pressure on here. And not surprising to see this kind of move. He knows that the money jumps are really big. He knows that his opponents are not going to really want to tangle with him unless they have a really good hand. Now on this occasion, has that aforementioned really good hand, but a lot of the times he's going to get a fold here. Does it have any thought of slow playing this at all, or does he just 4-bet? And does he make a small 4-bet? Or shove? What would you do? I will have $5 and a small 4-bet. No, I definitely was saying that before he did it. Definitely. Apparently I'm not getting paid out on that. It's a bit disappointing. Into Second Wind has been caught with his fingers in the cookie jar. Now, does he rebluff here? He does not. He gets out the way. So, tries to 3-bet bluff. It doesn't go well, but pretty profitable play, I think, in this spot. The money jumps are really big now. 5 players left. They've locked up $67,000. But the difference between 5th and 4th is 17,000, and the differences only get bigger from there. So you can understand if some of the players start tightening up a little bit. Briemaus opens the king-jack in the cutoff. And Kana may have found a good spot to put the money in. Around about 11 big blinds. In it goes. Briemaus will make the call. So, we'll have a race. Kana is the favourite. But Kana's also the all-in player. Can his ace-10 hold? Looks good so far. Both players pair up on the flop. 8 of diamonds doesn't change anything. Kana sweating this river card. It doesn't get it home. A cruel way to go out. Pretty close pre-flop, but after that flop would have felt good. Briemaus catching the jack on the river, eliminating Kana 1983, the UK player, out for $67,000 and change. An amazing payday for 5th spot. And we'll play on 4-handed. 300,000, 600,000. Still your blind level. Into second one with the ace-queen again. And we've been here before, haven't we? Sadly, for Ahhh, his hand is not quite as good as when he shoved with queens. And into second wind, well, 6th time, isn't it? Got away from it last time. Calls in a heartbeat this time. And this time he's dominating. Doesn't look good for Ahhh 1990. Needs a ton of help. And there it is. King of diamonds on the flop. Not even much of a sweat. Into second wind has been outrun in this one. The first backward step, really, at this final table. Ahhh catapults himself from elimination to a tie for the chip lead. That's how close things are. Very evenly matched, these 4 stacks. Into second wind, who's been chip leader for a long time at this final table, is now your short stack. So it really is on the turn of a card right now with these blinds and chip stacks. And ace-queen has been the theme of the final table, hasn't it? Some big decisions with ace-queen, and it keeps getting dealt. Ahhh has it on the button this time. Into second one with the flat call. And we'll see a flop. Well, not dissimilar to that situation we saw earlier where Briemaus had ace-6 and made 2 pair against Ahhh's ace-queen. Ahhh was able to get away from that. I'd be shocked if Ahhh was able to get away from this one. The only thing that might save him is it's an extremely dry flop. So, yeah, for a start in second wind's not going to play it aggressively. A raise wouldn't make a huge amount of sense right there. 6 million in the middle. And another nice card on the turn for into second wind. He picks up a flush draw, which he doesn't need, of course, but it's not a scary card from his opponent's point of view. Ahhh will check back, which is interesting. Trying to get paid on the river here. Definitely thinks he has the best hand. Oh, and that's barbecue time, isn't it? Filet a Ahhh 1990 is what we're going to be served in hand 82. I feel really sorry for him. He's actually going to be alive after this hand because he has the bigger chip stack, but really unfortunate the way this has come out. I mean, what is he supposed to do? He does flat call. Well, what a bizarre final table. The 3rd time somebody's got away from losing a ton of chips with ace-queen specifically. A really weird set of hands. And I don't know about you, but I would have ventured a smidge of a value raise with the ace-queen there. Ahhh had other ideas. Read the situation absolutely right. And gets away without losing his stack. Amazing stuff. Really high quality of play. Ahhh, by the way, has already finished 4th in the Sunday Million. Actually last December. So obviously knows what it takes to do well in this tournament. He's tying his best performance right here. Hoping to go 3 spots better, of course. And these two are going to tangle again. Ahhh has been 3-bet. And 10's far too strong to do anything other than put the money in with. Into second wind. Staying really active, isn't he? The mark of a good player. Even though the pressure and the blinds have gone up. Into second wind. Still trying to make chips that he has no right to. Runs into a hand here. And look at these chip stacks. Some really fascinating hands at this final table, but the chip stack still staying incredibly competitive. It is anyone's million. Briemaus trying to make it his, attacking into second wind. And, well, this is the stuff dreams are made of for Ahhh, is it? Ace-king suited in the big blind, a raise and a re-raise in front. At this stage, happy days. Bit of a think here, but it has less than 30 big blinds. So he makes the small 4-bet. I think he must have been thinking, do I just shove here? Or do I make what could look like a potential bluff? In actual fact, maybe it actually looks super strong there, making that small 4-bet. But either way, he takes it down, risk-free. Can't be too bad. And the 4 chip stacks will get even tighter. Crazy fun. Hand 95, and Ahhh will start the action. Slightly more than double the big blind. Controversially, don't usually allow that kind of thing, but we'll let it slide. Into second wind, we'll get out of the way. And briemaus, with the decision, will flat call. Well, we've seen already in this final table, he does like to defend that big blind. Quite ambitious with this stack size and 7-5, but maybe he has a plan. Still don't know what the plan is after that bet. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Just see what happens. Ahhh with ace high. Now, what do you make of this kind of bet? You've got the ace high. The big blind's defended. Now he wants to bet the minimum. What does it mean? Ahhh trying to figure that out. Probably pretty unexpected bet. Good piece of advice I heard once is if someone bets the minimum, do what they would have done if they'd have checked. So if you were going to bet, then just bet or raise. And Ahhh kind of follows that metric, makes the raise, and briemaus folds. So Ahhh staying aggressive and taking it down. This is hand 97 of what's been a really absorbing 4-way battle. These players have $84,000 locked up. Playing for much more, of course, and the Sunday Million title. Into second wind opens the action in hand 97. Ahhh will flat call. And we're really seeing some poker. When the blinds start rising again, it may well curtail our fun. But for now, these players are having to earn this money and this title. Both of them flop a straight draw here. Ahh's got the bad end. Has a backdoor club draw and an ace, as you can see. Into second wind with the good end of the straight draw. Just under 3 million in the middle. Into second wind. Has the lead, has the check to him, and he'll take a free card. Why not? It's gone out of fashion, hasn't it? But he's still allowed to do it. And he does improve his hand on the turn. Pairs his queen. Now, does Ahhh want to make any kind of play at this pot? He does. So things working out nicely for into second wind. Probably just be calling here and allow his man to keep bluffing if he is bluffing. And that's what happens. 6 million in the middle. Oh, and the 9 is a killer card, isn't it? Makes top 2 pair for into second wind, but the ignorant end of the straight came in. Ahhh has the winning hand. And bets 2.7. Now, does into second wind have any thoughts of raising for value here? No, he dismisses that pretty quickly and just makes the call. And sees that he got unlucky in this one. Ahhh rivers the straight and takes the chip lead.
We are 10,000 people in Brazil, holding our breath. We are alone. Hunters. Hunted. We are committed. Blessed. Calm. We are all in. We are poker.
Welcome back to the Sunday Million Highlight Show. You can claim your free seat in the million by winning the free roll, which takes place on the 28th of March at 3:35 Eastern Standard Time. The password is Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo. 4 players in with a shout here. It's been a fantastic final table, one of the best Sunday Million finals for a while. Some really interesting hands for you, and all 4 still within a great shot of winning it. Look how close those chip stacks are through 109 hands at this final. Ahhh Is It has the chip lead, but not by much. Playing 400,000, 800,000 as we rejoin the action. So all of the chip stacks are between 20 and 30 big blinds. Action followed around to Ahhh Is It in the small blind, and he'll raise. Quite a small raise actually from the small blind. Double the blind, pretty standard. But not so much from the small blind, because you do get called so often. Into second win will call and play this one in position. Or is it looking for a very fortuitous flop? Oh, terrific. Good 8 months since I used that one. Into second win catches the best hand. He was ahead already. But Ahhh Is It does have the flush draw, so this could be interesting. 3.5 million in the middle. And he will keep the aggression going. Be surprising if into second win did anything but call here, and he does do just that. So 6.7 million in the middle. Ahhh Is It looking for that heart? And that's the classic good card to bluff, isn't it? Ace on the turn, he raised pre-flop. C-bet the flop, he's allowed to have an ace here. And he bets like he's got an ace. Now, into second win's decision making has been pretty impeccable so far, and yeah, he's not going anywhere. This pot's got big, just under 14 million, both of them with more or less a pot-sized bet left, and the flush doesn't arrive. So, into second win has the best hand. What does Ahhh Is It do here? He has made a pair, so he does have queens and fours on the river, and he's just going to try and get to showdown. Hope that into second win checks back king high or his own busted heart draw or something, I guess. But in fact, he has the best hand. So possibly a critical pot. Into second win regaining the chip lead, and as we rejoin the action, he's up over 30 million. 2 shortest stacks in the blinds. Ace Queen, again looking to play a role in this tournament. Opens on the button. Briemaus shoves from the small blind, and decision time for Ahhh in the big blind. What do you do here with 15.5 million? Bearing in mind the money jumps, Ahhh decides to fold. Pretty big decision with 2 nines. Into second win makes the call, and Briemaus is in trouble here, dominated by the chip leader. No help on the flop. Looking for that king. Doesn't arrive on the turn. And Briemaus is going to be eliminated here by into second win, who catches an ace on the river. Now has more than half the chips in play, and Briemaus hits the exit. And the German player, well, he's been lucky in life in that he's won $84,000. A little bit unlucky in this tournament in that they played four-handed for a long time. After his elimination, these 3 players would end up making a deal. I'll confirm the amounts as they exit. But we need to get back to the action because Ahhh has kings here. And a nice spot to find them against the chip leader in the blinds. Yeah, into second win's putting on maximum pressure. And Ahhh has a very easy decision to make. He just calls with the second best hand in Hold'em and hopes it holds up. Important pot for him, very important pot for him. Chip stacks will be level if he can get the kings home, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. This is like into second wins tournament for a decent amount of this final table, and that pot may well confirm it. 61 million in his stack now. Ahhh very unlucky to hit the rail in that particular hand. Finishes third. The Latvian takes home 160,000 and change after the deal, and we are heads up. Playing for a big chunk of cash still, despite the deal and the Sunday Million title, and this could be a short one. Ace King versus Ace Queen. Ace Queen has been such a pivotal hand. in a lot of the decisions at this final table. Could it be involved in the last one? Into second wind, dominating the final table, dominating this final hand. The 8 comes close to locking it up for him. Is it? Needs to get super lucky now. Just the river to catch a queen, or this one's done. And the 10 of clubs confirms what's looked likely for a decent amount of this final table. Into second wind, Russell Thomas, the Canadian player, adds a Sunday Million Championship to his 4th in the World Series of Poker main event. A new name on the tournament scene. Into second wind scoops $219,184 after the deal. A fantastic performance from start to finish. Is it? Played really well. $174,000 for the British player in second, and the Latvian Ahhh 1990 takes 3rd place and a lot of money in the chop as well. I really hope you enjoyed that one. Some fantastic poker, some hands to look back on. One of the better Sunday Millions we've done in a while, I think you'll agree. Really, really fun. There'll be another one this time next week. Until then, for everyone at PokerStars.tv, I'm Nick Wealthall. Take big care.